Every normal person, in fact, is only normal on the average. His ego approximates to that of the psychotic in some part or other, and to a greater or lesser extent. Love and work, work and love, that's all there is. The ego is not master in its own house. The interpretation of dreams is the royal road to a knowledge of the unconscious activities of the mind. The first human who hurled an insult instead of a stone was the founder of civilization. When inspiration does not come to me, I go halfway to meet it. Unexpressed emotions will never die. They are buried alive and will come forth later in uglier ways. When we attempt to imagine death, we perceive ourselves as spectators. Opposition is not necessarily enmity. It is merely misused and made an occasion for enmity. The voice of the intellect is a soft one, but it does not rest until it has gained a hearing. America is a mistake, a giant mistake. We are what we are because we have been what we have been. Just as no one can be forced into belief, so no one can be forced into unbelief. America is the most grandiose experiment the world has seen, but I'm afraid it is not going to be a success. Flowers are restful to look at. They have neither emotions nor conflicts. We are never so defenseless against suffering as when we love. Dreams are often most profound when they seem the most crazy. The mind is like an iceberg. It is of which only 1/7 emerges above the surface. We are never so defenseless against suffering as when we love. Dreams are often most profound when they seem the most crazy. The mind is like an iceberg. It is of which only 1/7 emerges above the surface. I cannot think of any need in childhood as strong as the need for a father's protection. The only thing we can do for our children is to give them the unconditional love that lets them know they deserve to be loved. The only way to deal with an unfree world is to become so absolutely free that your very existence is an act of rebellion. Even the best and most beautiful things in the world cannot be seen or even touched. They must be felt with the heart. And the only limit to our realization of tomorrow will be our doubts of today. The greatest journey in life is the one inward, to the discovery of self. In so doing, the idea forces itself upon him that religion is comparable to a childhood neurosis, and he is optimistic enough to suppose that mankind will surmount this neurotic phase, just as so many children grow out of their similar neuroses. People live the present with a certain naivety without considering exactly its contents. A man should not strive to eliminate his complexes, but to get into accord with them. They are legitimately what directs his conduct in the world. Most people don't want freedom because this implies responsibility, and responsibility is scary. People usually use false standards to measure. They look and admire power, success, and wealth, but they underestimate the true values of life. From era to era, one discovers the entire truth. Everywhere I go, I find a poet has been there before me. The goal of all life is death. A fear of weapons is a sign of retarded sexual and emotional maturity.